Do you like sex in the shower?
Yes.
Really?
One thing that really helped me out, I think, in the beginning was everybody being so adamant that I'm straight. He was like, "No son of mine's gonna have a Barbie," and threw it away and right in front of me. Everybody likes some good old hour long, from the shower to the floor to the bed.
Never.
There was these strippers. These girls would come in and they would buy 2 shots and they'd put $30 in my underwear. It was so cool.
Do you mean he saw size potential in you?
He saw all kinds of potential.
Thank you, Lady Gaga, for educating all straight men. Hi guys, welcome to the podcast. Today we are not alone. We are with masculine hunk, 6'5", James Lucky SZ right here. I would put the claps on the background. Mike, please put the claps on the background.
Thank you.
This is third time we're trying to film podcast.
I flew to you, then you flew to me.
Yeah.
Then we met each other in another city.
Yeah. First time we filmed this podcast, we were drunk and I watched it for 42 minutes. And I decided that the world should not see this.
Yeah, thank God too.
So the world should not see this because it was sad and I was obnoxious and
saved us a lot of embarrassment.
Yeah. So we decided to go deep, dark secrets of hard life of James Lucky, something that he's never told before anyone. He comes very, very, very hard. Okay, I'm just, I just try to hype up. Before we move to your story, have you ever slept with one of the gay influencers? Like, have you ever hooked up with one?
No, of course there's a lot of talk in the DMs, but I don't think I've ever hooked up with any of them, no.
Who is the most famous person that you got hit on by?
I can't say that. You know I can't say that.
Why?
Because I'm not trying to put anybody's business out there.
Okay, so you're not trying to monetize your connections, but there were some very famous people.
Some very high profile people, yes.
So they hit on you?
Yeah.
How does it feel like when those people hit on you? Like, is it actors or singers or
big
do you feel thrilled? Or...
Honestly, it's exciting kind of being noticed, but at the same time, I always have in my mind, this person obviously has the capability to talk to anybody they want to. Mm-hmm. So I don't really feel that special. I just treat it like a normal human interaction. I'm not starstruck and I don't
You're not excited?
I'm excited, but I'm not over the moon. It's just as exciting as if anybody I was attracted to messaged me, you know?
Mm-hmm. Do you think those people hook up with a lot of people or no? Because they have access. Because I'm just curious, I
would say that through conversations I've had, it seems like they have the ability to hook up with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But then if they actually do it is a whole nother thing. Because that more comes down to the type of person you are. You could talk to a ton of people and not necessarily a bunch of people. I think a lot of the thrill of it is in talking. I think that can be really exciting. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes down to actually doing it, I think that's a whole nother game.
So guys, we'll introduce James for you a little bit and then we'll come back to this topic about his real truth if he abused his power of being a little bit noticeable. But James, who are you? Where you were born?
So I am James. I'm from the Philadelphia area, just outside of Philadelphia, the city. Mm-hmm. I lived there my entire life until a couple of years ago when I moved to Fort Lauderdale. Mm-hmm. And I love it here. I love Fort Lauderdale. It's beautiful. It's like paradise not paradise, but it's like vacation every day.
So you grew up in Philadelphia. What did you do? Because now James does his VIP page. Check it out for 9 months, right? Mm-hmm. So check him out. But before this, what did you do? What was your jobs?
I spent since I was 15 working in restaurants, bars, nightclubs. It was always the service industry.
You didn't go to college?
No college.
Why no college? Is there a story about it?
I wouldn't say there's a story, but it just was never really in the cards for me. There was no real expectation for me to do well academically or really push myself to be anything. There was no motivation there.
That's why I decided to become a whore.
Yeah, exactly.
Same. No, but honestly, you didn't want to go there.
No, we can go there.
No, No,
oh, you mean to college? I wanted to go to college. I really did want to go to college, and I got accepted to a couple of colleges. Mm-hmm. But it can all be really intimidating when you really have no idea what you want to do. And my parents didn't really care if I went or not, so I wasn't afraid of what I might be getting myself into. And looking back, I probably would have gotten myself a degree in something that I would not have followed through with. Mm-hmm. Just knowing myself. I like to change a lot. I like changes of scenery. I like to, I change my mind a lot on a lot of things.
Directions.
And I change directions a lot. So if I, at 17, had tried to map out the rest of my life, I think I'd be in debt and miserable.
Are you gay?
Yes.
Okay, so when did you know you were gay?
I knew I was gay from a very young age.
Like how old you were? I was 5.
Yeah, I was probably like around there, maybe
Was
4.
there any guy who you like looked at and was like, he's so hot, I'm gay?
No, I don't think it was really like that. I just had like a emotional and I would say even, I mean, it sounds really messed up, but like even like a physical kind of it,
What do you
like
mean it's messed up? I think a lot of people do.
it's kind of like a taboo subject to talk about, like at
True.
such a young age. But I just remember feeling a specific type of way towards like men.
Yeah, I just wanted men, like
Yeah.
from very young age, which is wild when you can think about it, but that was just my case, and I'm just open about it.
Yeah.
I just like big guys, big dudes, the Jean-Claude Van Damme. I just really like big hairy dudes. So that's what I ended up dating now. But so
Nice.
you were pretty young, but you didn't like come out, right? Till like what age you came out?
So I had a gay cousin. He
Mm-hmm.
was from like a like step cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was gay, and I actually told him when I was, I think, like 13 or 14 first. I mean, granted, my family has told me that everybody knew,
They knew that you were gay
yes,
when you were like growing up.
yeah, it was pretty obvious.
How?
I was like a pretty flamboyant little boy.
Really?
I loved like
James is
Britney's.
very masked right now, so maybe he's playing for camera. I don't know, but
No, I was a total fruitcake.
really.
Oh
So, what
yeah.
did you like dress up in your mom clothes?
I loved Britney Spears and like I talked with like a little bit of a gay accent. Like I was just very like sensitive and like
Emotional.
not emotional, but I was just very like flamboyant when I was a kid growing up. And I like to draw and like I would draw flowers and like I had a cousin, we would play Barbies together.
Mhm.
I remember one time, she was like my best friend growing up and she kind of like protected me from my brothers.
Period.
And I remember one time though, like her and I got in a little bit of a fight and she like took my brother's side. She like ganged up with my brothers to make fun of me.
Mhm.
And I went downstairs and I was like, I want to watch a movie. And she was like, there's Barbie Princess on DVD right there. I was like, my best friend just betrayed me in front of everybody, and everybody laughed at me.
So did you collect Barbie too, or?
No, they were all hers. I didn't have Barbies. My dad let me buy a Barbie one time. My dad was, I wouldn't say he was homophobic, but he did not want to have a gay son.
Yeah, and
Um,
then he saw you growing up out there.
yeah, eventually he came around to it, which actually we'll get back to when we get back to the coming out
Yeah.
story. But my dad let me get a Barbie one time. It was actually a Bratz doll.
Hmm.
And I remember I was so excited. Then came home and like I guess he like came to his senses and like threw it away right in front of me and it was so dramatic.
Wait, why did he throw it away?
He was like, "No son of mine's gonna have a Barbie," and threw it away and right in front of me.
Did you cry?
Probably,
Yeah.
probably.
But like, did he not let you buy Barbie anymore?
No, he didn't. But my stepdad, I remember one time my mom took me to the toy store.
Hmm.
And I was like looking around all the toys, and they could tell that like I wasn't finding anything. My stepdad came over and he whispered to me, he was like, "Do you want the Britney Spears Barbie doll?" And I was like, "Yes, please."
He's like the best stepdad
Yeah.
ever.
So he bought me the Britney Spears Barbie doll, and she had like the red latex suit.
So he was very supportive.
Yeah, definitely.
You touched on a very interesting topic, gay accent. You had gay accent since you were like young kid.
I did as a young kid, yeah.
Where do you think, what's the definition of where it comes from? Like, is it like naturally you were born with gay accent?
No, I don't think so. I think because I really liked, like, I looked up to a lot of like female, like pop stars and like characters and shows. Like, I remember Spy Kids. I always loved the girl in the Spy Kids movie. And like, obviously, when I was a kid, I loved Britney Spears.
So you're just because you
I think I just kind of like wanted to, I just like felt like they were like powerful and I wanted to be like, I kind of related. I wanted to be like them. So I was just more feminine and that came along with like the accent too, I guess.
Okay, so come back to your coming out story.
So anyway, yeah, I had a gay cousin and he was like super gay. And
Flamboyant.
yeah, and he would like talk in a British accent sometimes. It was so weird. It was so funny. But anyway, I told him because I felt like I could trust him. And then I remember I was at home with my family and he texted me that he was telling my stepmom like
Why would
right
he do
there.
it?
I don't know. I guess he felt like it was best for me. I really felt uncomfortable about it. But anyway, I remember sitting there, my whole family sitting down, we're watching like a movie together, and she looks at me and like she had just gotten the text.
Hmm.
And I was like, God damn it. Like at that point, I had pretty much convinced myself I would take it to the grave with me. Like it would never come out. Like maybe a couple days later, I'm getting on the bus from school and my stepmom texts me. She's like, I'm going to tell your dad right now. We'll talk about it when you get home.
So she wanted to tell your dad instead of you.
Yeah, and
Tell him.
honestly, that's probably the only way that it would have happened. I never would have told my dad. I didn't want to tell my dad. I didn't want to be the one to have to tell him. I hate confrontation. So, but I remember texting her back. I was like, no, please don't tell him. Like, we can do it another time.
Mm-hmm.
And she did anyway. And then I remember getting home and my dad like sent my brothers to the basement to go play video games. And me, my dad, and my stepmom sat down to kind of talk about it. And I was nervous. I mean, my dad,
What did he say?
he looked like really confused or like really like he just like you could tell he was like there was a lot of expression on his face. But when it came down to it, he was like, between you and your cousin, you know, I realized that you guys are just born this way, like Lady Gaga says. Literally what he
He
said.
said it?
Yeah.
Lady Gaga, cultural impact and cultural
Seriously.
reset. Yeah,
Shout out
reset.
Gaga.
Thank you, Lady Gaga, for educating all straight men in their 40s and 50s. So yeah, and then what's next?
So I was actually really like blessed and lucky to like have that be the way it
Did
came
you
out.
like laugh when he said about Lady Gaga
I think I
reference?
was crying probably.
Okay, so
It was really emotional. It was a really like kind of emotionally tough time.
did you like were you mad at your stepmom because like what the
No, I think that I was mad at my cousin for sure because I felt like I could trust him and for him to kind of just pivot
This is
around that.
so fucked up though, because
It
like
is,
it probably
yeah.
fucked up your trust to anyone like
Well,
for a long time.
yeah, and you know what? We weren't even close like that. Like I said, he was like my step cousin. I rarely saw him, but he was the only other gay person around my age that I knew. So, you know,
I think it also comes sometimes you're more likely if you're like young, you're more likely to tell someone who is not super close to you
right.
because you're less afraid to
Yeah.
lose them. Because I think I told my one of my first ever people I told it was like random girlfriend I've had and we were like kind of close but not really.
Right.
And I remember we were like sitting next to we went on a dance camp and we were sitting next to the room where I had a guy who I had a crush on for like 5 years and we were sitting on the stairs and I was like, you know what, like remember I told you that there is a person who I love and like have a I'm so in love with this person and I always used person. I never used
Yeah.
a girl. So if someone says person or a personality, yeah,
Suspicious.
it's very or individual says like, this person is actually in this room right now. And she's like, what do you mean in this room?
Unless they're non-binary.
And she was like I was like, he's in this room. And I was like, what do you mean it's him? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, no way. What are you talking about?
And this was in Ukraine.
And this was in Ukraine, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, after she like reacted this way, I was like, no, I'm just joking. It's not him. Ha ha ha. And she was like, ha ha ha. I really didn't believe you. Like that was fucked up. I don't know why I decided to tell her. And it's actually like I wasn't even scared that she's gonna tell someone. I kind of made it as a joke, but that's kind of also like fucked up my
Did she
trust.
believe you that when you said you were joking?
I hope she did. She didn't go and spread the lies, or she didn't tell people, I think. Because my other girlfriend, who I actually trusted the most, she did tell her other girlfriend.
Did
and
people
she
like
was-
think you were gay though, or
I think there were suspicions, but
Right.
I kind of like masked it well because I was dating a girl, or
Okay.
like I would have sex with a girl, and I would be like very first one out of all of the guys who like actually had a girlfriend in 7th grade. But it was so funny because I was extremely like femboy. I had the gay accent because I had only my girlfriend always,
Right.
and I was always with her, and she was like so cool. She was dating like it was cool in Ukraine when you're like 13 and you date someone 18 or 19. So she was like this cool girl who were like dating someone old. I know how crazy it sounds.
Right.
And I was like, okay, we're always hanging out with like older guys. We're the
Right.
best, and our like
She was older?
classmates. No, she was 13.
Oh, and
But
you-
we were always
okay.
hanging out with the older guys because I was with her.
Right.
So I thought it was like so cool.
Right.
And I know how crazy it sounds right now.
Isn't it
looking
funny
back.
though how like the gay? I feel like growing up like as a gay kid, like you have so many girlfriends growing up.
Yeah, majority of people do. Some people don't. Like my boyfriend never had a girlfriend.
I always had girlfriends. I remember in like 2nd grade, I came home and I was like, "Mom, how many girlfriends can I have at one time?"
Really said it?
Yeah, because like, but like, obviously at that young age, like you get along with the girls, but you don't realize like you're getting along with the girls because you're gay. At that time, you're like, "Oh, these are my girlfriends." You know what I mean?
And then you grow up and you start to have less and less of them, and you start to
Yeah.
have more gay friends because they're like getting. I don't know. I've experienced that they're getting their boyfriends, they're getting married. So I feel like whenever you grow up, you have less and less girlfriends.
I feel like I have not ever really had gay friends until I met you.
Really? Am
Yeah.
I your first one?
No, I've had gay friends, but not like gay friends that like friends I would maybe go out with or like I meet at the bar, or if I see
Yeah.
them at the bar, like I'll hang out with them.
I think social media changed it for me. That's when I kind of
Right.
met a lot of gay people, and I figured out, oh, it's actually more fun than
Yeah.
go to a straight club. But anyways, so your gay cousin up your trust.
Yes.
My girlfriend up my trust. You proceeded to not go to the college. You decided to work in the service industry. Did you ever work in a gay bar?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time working in gay bars. So my first couple jobs, I was like 16, 15, and I was working at like Panera Bread, like whatever job you can get when you're that age. But once I could, I started working in the gay bars. Actually, my very first job at the gay bar, I was 18, and I would sell jello shots on a tray for $1. And
Okay,
then
that's a cheap one.
yeah, so they were dollar jello shots, and anything you make, like you have to pay the bar for the amount of jello shots. So if I sell 200 jello shots, the bar gets 200, but anything left over, I get to keep. That's
Okay.
basically how I got paid.
So did you made a lot?
Yeah, actually, I only did it for like 2 months because it was like people would really degrade you, and like I just couldn't
In
do
what
it.
way degrade you?
I mean, like it's part of it comes with it. You expect to kind of be like, touched or like whatever, but people would, I couldn't like handle it the way the other guys could. The other guys could like flirt back. I would get pissed immediately. If somebody like touched me inappropriately, I'd be like, who the do you think you are? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though like that's kind of, I should be playing into it. That's kind of what they hired me to do, but I just hated it. Pride weekend, I've set the record 2 days in a row. Saturday, I've sold 500 shots, and then Sunday I sold 550 shots.
So you kept like $350?
No, I mean I gave the bar 500, and however many tips I got on top of the 500, I
okay,
kept.
got it.
So
And
yeah,
people were tipping you well, right?
yeah, I remember there was these strippers. These girls would come in and they would like buy 2 shots and they'd put like $30 in my underwear. It was so cool.
They were strippers.
Yeah, and they were like hot, young, hot girls, and they just like love to be there. They love to like support,
Like in a gay bar.
yeah.
Okay. And they were generous.
Yeah, 'cause they had so much
strippers-
cash.
Yeah, strippers
Yeah.
are always generous.
Yeah, because they're
they
showing the
know.
love for the industry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they know how hard it is to work for tips.
Yeah.
So you left this job. And
So yeah, I left that job, and then the bar closed because the owner was caught on camera, like in his office saying the N word like 10 times in a row.
oh my God.
So then he took his liquor license and moved to Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you ever while you worked there, did you had like a crush on a customer?
No, but I had me and this other shop boy had this like little romance fling.
Tell us. When was it?
It was years ago. But we like really fell into each other. We were like the two.
The shot boy.
Yeah, me and
Like so you fell in love with the shot boy.
yeah, we like had a little romance. We were like the two cutest ones.
Okay.
And all the other shop boys were so jealous of us. They hated us. They would say such like they would be so catty. But anyway, we just like kind of, I remember we would hang out because we wouldn't get done work until like 3 in the morning. Then I'd go over to his house and we'd listen to music, and we'd
How long did it last?
only like a month.
And then what happened?
I like shaved my head and then quit.
He just stopped dating you because you shave your head.
No, we like started fighting because like there was no compatibility there.
Oh, okay.
But like when you're young,
But it was passion.
yeah, because when you're young and you're gay and there's other young gay people around, like, and you've never like dated a guy before, like you just wanna, but there was no connection. Like there was no chemistry there at all.
It was just all pure sex.
Yeah, and it was great.
That was good.
Yeah, he had a great,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't blame you. Sometimes you just need to experience it.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes you don't have time to experience it. So you said that a lot of guys were catty, who were like gay guys. Were they're just like jealous that you guys were like the cutest ones and dated?
Well, I've always felt like I've presented myself in a very like traditionally attractive way. Like I've never like some of these guys have like green hair and like crazy piercings, And when you're in an environment where you're selling sex, that doesn't always get you the upper hand, So I think that a lot of the jealousy came from how easy the job was for me, and I think that that's because I play into certain strengths that do well. I feel like everybody who I know from social media who does well, like they're all very sweet people.
But then you know them better.
And then when you become friends with them, they become
It's like, not
shady,
really, yeah.
manipulative, rude. No, I'm just kidding.
They are gonna think this way.
Yeah.
They're gonna say that I'm shady, manipulative now.
No,
Thank you,
you're
James.
not.
You know what? And Mike, don't cut it.
Don't cut it.
Keep it. Let people to assume stuff because we need. I say always to Chris, we are not controversial enough. So like something needs to happen negative,
Yeah.
and then you'll get clout, and then podcast will go to the roof, and people will watch it.
Well,
when you're just like sweetheart, it's
Yeah.
very rare when it works.
One
Like,
thing that really helped me out, I think, in the beginning was everybody like being so adamant that I'm straight.
oh, when you start social media,
When I started social media, and
even now.
The rumor lingers, you know. I think less people believe it now than did, but I mean, you go to everywhere online, like my DMs, like forums online, my comment section, and it's like you're not really gay, like there's no way.
I think it just comes from damage that straight guys who pretend to be gay have
Right.
done, and the straight guys who, really kind of like taking this persona, gay persona, and it almost feels like bullying or like laughing at gay culture. It is like, I know that it's weird to say, but I kind of feel like people who are like pretend to be gay too hard. It's like, I am a very hot top and I'm waiting for
Right.
my bottom to come back and get his
It's
out
so
up.
cringy.
So it's so cringy, but they're just trying to get money from OnlyFans.
And it
So I
works.
think
It works so well for them
it works
though.
for some people, but it's not sustainable in the long term.
Yeah.
Like it's not really like they can make a good money for a couple of years, but in the long term they're gonna fall off, and that's just the
Yeah.
reality.
Same thing
But
with like that's exactly what I mean when like mean and pretty people. It's like the
yeah,
same thing. It will work for a little while, but
but then I think that's why you're the product of them doing it, and now people have less belief in guys, and when they see someone who is masculine and new, they're like, oh, he's probably straight.
well, you know, I think people kind of expect me to like take it as a compliment because it means that I'm not like presenting gay or I'm not too flamboyant or maybe I'm not too whatever. But actually, I feel like it's an insult to like how I grew up, who I was as a kid, like the younger version of myself for people to say that I'm not really gay because
Because you undermine your persona, like
yeah,
you're
and
undermining
everything that
your.
being gay and young and like the person I am today is a product of like the bullying that young gay version of me went through.
That's why it's problematic pretend to be gay and
Right.
queer baiting. Because some people say, I don't care, like, you play sex on camera anyways, even if you're gay, you're not into your partner. Yeah, it's one thing to play sex on camera. Another thing is pretend to be gay because you don't have to go through all of the struggles
Yeah.
and you're just benefiting from the people. But people like it and people will pay for it, and there's going to be always people who will pay for it. So there's an audience for it.
Right.
So it's just it's never an answer. What I think is just I personally try to distance myself more often from those people, but sometimes I can't.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to like benefit from their clout, and I'm here for it.
There you go.
So yeah, so people assume you're straight.
But at least then that person is doing something for the gay community by giving you some clout.
Yeah, so I benefit from him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm benefiting from him.
Yeah.
You said that you were pretty flamboyant. When was the point when you switched your gay accent went away and you're like, I'm mask for mask, I'm here to
Yeah.
grab you by your neck, throw in a bed.
Well, I would say like around high school there I became really extremely introverted as a person. I had no friends in high school. I kind of lived every day of my life in school trying to make sure that people like didn't even know I existed. My goal was to like walk down the hallway and nobody see me. And so that introversion and trying to figure out a way that I could put myself into the world and not feel embarrassed by like everything I do, I think kind of like rewired me from like a kid to an adult. Like, how do I want to present myself to the world?
Was someone like trying to laugh at you? What happened that you became introverted?
I felt like everybody was always laughing at me. I just felt
When
like,
you were like behaving the way you are.
yeah, yeah. And I just was super, super shy and anxious. And I remember one time I had to do a presentation in class and like I had to do it alone. And I was like supposed to hold up a paper and I was just shaking so bad. And like I tried putting the paper down on the desk and the teacher was like, just hold the paper. And I was like, okay. So I put it like on the chalkboard because like I knew I was shaking so bad. And she was like, just hold the paper. And I was like, okay. And so I'm just like giving this presentation, shaking so bad.
Hold the paper.
So I just like, I was extremely introverted.
But what something happened that you, from this outgoing, flamboyant kid, like you said, that you switched to this introvert?
Well, I was never really like praised for being flamboyant. Like my brothers, my dad, like it was always something wrong with me, you know?
Oh, so that's what probably happened. That
Yeah,
you
and so
benefited.
eventually when I got to a certain age where like especially like around high school when you're not like a kid in a way where you're like protected, now you have to put yourself out there in the world. I was like, well, how am I going to make sure that I get as little attention on me because I don't want to be made fun of. Like I don't know how to stand up for myself.
Did people call you out for a gay walk?
No, I pretty much succeeded in going completely under the radar throughout all of high school. People
Yeah.
didn't, if I'm sure that if you asked most of the people I went to high school with who I was, they would have no idea.
That's crazy. I got called out for a gay walk, like multiple times, but like guys from older, from ninth grade, 10th grade, whatever, and they'd like make fun of me because I would walk just like, I don't know where it comes from. It's in the genes, we're surviving, we're the gays, we have to like go make moves.
Period.
And like I was shaking my booty and I got called out and I felt so insecure. And I literally remember I was Googling how to change like your walk, the way you walk.
Wow.
Yeah. But it never happened. I really tried to like walk like super mask. And I remember I was walking super mask and I was like probably like 12 and I was just walking in the street and there was again like probably some adult, probably 20-year-old, like they looked at me and they laughed at me and they're like copied me. There's like so much trauma
Oh
of my
my
gay walk.
God,
Who
no.
struggle with the gay walk? I see you. You're not alone. We can do a support group on my VIP page. So yeah, but
Yeah.
it also like gay accent. I think I've got rid of it. I'm pretty. I
Yeah.
would say that when I moved to US, I was pretty shocked how many feminine gays here, and I was like, "Why are they so femme?" Because that's what it was in me when I was growing up. But I really tried my best to get rid of it just for survival purposes.
Right.
In Ukraine, you need to like talk a little bit more straight and
Right.
like, but still, this. When I met my boyfriend and he made me more comfortable, that's when my gay side comes out. Like that's when I dance, that's when I sing.
That's sweet that he does
Yeah.
that for
So he
you.
kind of made me more comfortable because I realized that people, you know, like you for who you are. Because I was like, oh, I'm ugly. But anyways, it's like same with my roommate. She said I hated my feet because they were so big. She had like 10 size feet for the girl. She said it's like she felt always insecure.
Yeah.
But then she met this guy who was so into feet and worshipped her feet for like forever.
Look at
And
that.
then she accepted herself.
I need
So
to
who
meet
is
somebody
into
who's
feet? Yeah.
I need to meet somebody who's into big noses.
So I'm actually, my feet are only like 8, I think. But
Yeah.
my boyfriend loves it. Did you always work out? Because you have a very, very impressive body.
Well, thank
Or
you.
it's like genetics. What is it mostly?
I've always been very thin.
Okay. So you never knew how to get muscle?
No, it's very. Dude, I was so skinny until like a couple years ago. I've always worked out. When I was younger, I did taekwondo with my family. I was a runner too. I liked
Period.
running, and then I discovered the gym sometime, maybe in later high school, maybe after high school. But it's just part of everyday life for me.
And now you're just like, keep going to the gym?
Yeah, I go to the gym every day.
Okay. Is there days that you just like lazy and you just don't go? Or it's just like, because there are so many days when I just don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Rarely, rarely. I
Is there like
have to go to the
insecurities
gym.
or?
Oh, there's tons of insecurities all over the place, but I don't think that's necessarily why I go to the gym every day. I go to the gym every day because it makes me feel better. It makes me feel like ready for the day. It's like that endorphin rush, like it gets my mind. If I don't go to the gym, then I have no idea what to do with my day. I'm like, I know I have to get these things done, but when am I supposed to do them? I have no idea. Like I can't organize anything in my head. I get like OCD like crazy. But I don't go to the gym every single day. Sometimes I'll do workout classes. Sometimes I'll go for a run, but I have to start my day like that.
So let's imagine that you don't know that I'm just like random person, right? Let's imagine that you're just like on a podcast we've met a couple days ago. So my question for you, tell me the story. How did you stop doing service job and went into your adventure on internet? What happened? How did it happen? Where did it happen?
So
My name is Michael now.
Hi,
No,
Michael.
Michael. Michael is not good. Let's do. My name is because we have my editor is Michael too. So my name is gonna be Romeo.
Okay, Romeo. So my journey to the internet actually starts with a couple of failed attempts at new careers.
That's interesting. Tell us.
So I'd been working in the restaurants long enough that I was working as a restaurant manager at this point.
Oh, that's pretty big.
Yeah, it was cool. It was for a really good company. And I liked the job a lot, but it became kind of toxic because of the people I was working with. My direct boss, we just butt heads really badly. He was also gay, and I felt that he was kind of catty and rude. And eventually it just became a toxic environment, so I left. And I was actually headed to get into real estate because it's a great industry in Florida. But if
We'll see now.
yeah, we'll see.
Are those hurricanes?
Right. But after 4 months in real estate, it was a really tough time in the market, and I had made no money. I spent all the money that I had saved. I got back into serving, and that felt like a huge blow to me because I had been there already. I kind of built myself past that.
Like step back.
Exactly. But I tried not to take it too hard. And I thought maybe I'll try, making a couple extra $100 a month on OnlyFans. I had no idea what I was doing. Kind of ad promoted a little bit, barely onto it. Like I never really promoted it. But then while I was working at this pool bar, serving drinks at a pool, and I met another creator, and his name was Art, and we kind of became friends really quickly. We chatted. I told him
In what way you guys became friends?
we can't.
Like how close or friends you guys became?
So I told him I was doing OF. He was actually wearing like these shorts that said OnlyFans on them. It was funny. And he immediately saw like potential in me and wanted to like have a little bit of a meeting about like how I was doing it, because I kind of expressed that it
Do
wasn't.
you mean he saw size potential in you?
He saw all kinds of potential. But anyway, so he took a look at what I was doing, basically told me everything I'm doing is garbage and trash and to completely start over. And at that point, I never could have imagined myself making a TikTok. I was like, there's no way I would ever be able to do something like that. It's so cringe. I mean, look at me now. It's just like my whole life is cringe. Anyway, so then we started making TikToks, and I made a new Instagram, I made a new TikTok, and it's been 7 months since then, and I have 100,000 followers on Instagram. 80,000.
Congratulations.
Thank you
That's
so
a pretty
much.
big achievement, yeah.
It meant a lot. I mean, that first 50,000 meant the most to me. I remember when I first hit 50,000, it was maybe 2 or 3 months in. I think it was about 3 months in.
Yeah.
That meant so much to me. I was just like kind of proud of myself
That you like learned it.
that I was able to do it, because when
Yeah.
we first met, you consistently told me like after this first week, after you leave Fort Lauderdale and go back to New York City, like it's all on you. You have to keep doing it. And I was nervous. I was like embarrassed a little bit. I thought I was gonna flop
Our first
constantly.
TikToks were very cringe.
Yeah, they
But
were.
they gave you like 10,000 followers.
They did, yeah.
So that was a good push. When was the moment when you realized like, okay, I can do it by myself for like a long time? Like this guy kind of like left because
I quit my job like 2 weeks after doing it. It worked out really well right away.
I'm gonna ask you a very quick question.
Yeah.
You should answer it. The first month, how much money you made?
The first month I made $14,000.
Yeah, and you quit. And then how much money you were making in your previous job?
Like maybe $4,000 a month.
Okay.
Maybe.
So your life changed a lot.
It
like
changed a
within
lot,
within
yeah.
the first months. Also, when you watch this video, not every single person will make $14,000. James is pretty much more exceptions of the rules because he has looks and he met me and he put a lot of effort on his own.
Yeah, I was doing 3 reels a day.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. It's like what you should do. So if you're like
Yeah.
just hear it and you're like, oh my gosh, every single guy, a lot of guys like top porn stars make under 10K per
And let me
month.
also say that it's not like doing 3 reels a day isn't hard because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's more of a mental game. The whole thing is like I have friends who right now want to like get more followers and they want to start, down that journey. And when I tell them 3 reels a day, they look at me like in shock. Like their faces go white because you got to keep new content ideas. It's a mental game with yourself of like how you're going to put yourself out there, how you're going to stay creative, how you're going to keep people engaged, and how you're also kind of going to stay true to yourself without like making just complete BS that means nothing.
We're not going to talk a lot about OnlyFans because that's not the purpose of this kind of podcast. I have a lot of people who do OnlyFans on the podcast because it's easy way to monetize. But it's interesting that James is one of the people who I try to help, and a lot of people don't listen to you. You just tell them 3 reels per day, and they say, yeah, okay, and they never do this. James was actually the one who did it. Are you afraid, like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna fall off?
Literally every day. I'm
And this is, I think,
constantly
the
worried
most,
about it.
this is the worst part of this job.
Absolutely.
Because you do have time on your hands if you do not know how to like manage it.
Yeah.
You are not. It's pretty easy to sustain. Like even if you make like $5,000, it's pretty
Yeah.
easy to like pay rent, and like stay in your head. And you're like every single day there's someone who turns 18 and starts on the
Right.
But being sustainable and like do it for a long time, that's only for like 1% of people, I think. Because I've looked at the data on YouTube. It comes to YouTubers too. People who started 10 years ago,
Right.
like 95% of them like fell down.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
they're just not being able to constantly put up yourself out there.
I also feel like with OnlyFans too, OnlyFans is a good kind of like back end thing to have, but you
Yeah.
definitely need like a front end, like whether it's Instagram or YouTube or some type of social media or like a podcast, you know. Like I think that
Email list is very good too.
yeah, I think that having OnlyFans be like not only what you do for work, but also like your presence, what
The
people
main
know you
presence,
for.
yeah.
I think that's going to be a lot harder to maintain over time.
Yeah, I like when people come to me and they're like, "Oh, you're the YouTuber or you're
Yeah.
the TikToker." Very rare, like 1 out of 10 people who'd come, or you, probably 1 out of like 100 people.
Yeah.
Where it's like, "Oh, you're OnlyFans guy," because they don't really, "Oh, you do OnlyFans?" Like,
I think I've heard that one time.
yeah.
I usually hear TikTok actually, which is funny because
Because you
I
would know,
take
yeah.
Instagram more seriously, I
What
think.
I've noticed is every different country that I went to, like in Amsterdam, they knew me from TikTok. Sorry, from YouTube. It's so
Okay. Yeah.
weird. Then like in US, it's like Instagram.
Yeah.
Then like we went to London, it was like TikTok. Like
Right.
it's kind of weird. It depends on the audience, I think. If you were able to do like one thing right now in social media, what would you want to do? If you were like here's production company for you, like where do you see yourself going in social media?
I kind of like question this in my head all the time. I always kind of lean towards podcast, but I don't know if that's exactly
If
true.
you'll be good at it.
I think I would be fine at it. I think if I could go any direction, I don't know, I'd like to have like a talk show kind of thing.
That's iconic, yeah.
Like not radio, but like
Tonight Show with James Lucky as a
yeah. Yeah, it would probably be like on like E News or something.
yeah, like Oscar. Oscar
Yeah.
Vicia. Do you have a boyfriend?
No.
You don't have a boyfriend.
Mm-mm.
So, do you want to have a boyfriend at some point?
It's not really like I have like things going on,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
So it's not on your map.
No.
Okay. Not
Not at all. I have like my own personal like situation type of things.
okay.
Such a weird answer.
It's okay. As long as you're not straight and full of illness.
I'm definitely not straight.
Yeah, you guys check out what he
Subscribe.
does. Yeah. Yeah, it's too much sometimes. Last question. How long do you think the sex should last?
It depends what kind of sex you're having.
Just like regular sex.
Just average.
Yeah.
I think like 30 minutes would be a good average.
Like from start to begin to end, or like just in a moment.
You could easily have a satisfying, good, great time. From the time you walk in that door, 30 minutes later, you could be done. But everybody likes some good old like hour long,
Oh my
like from
God.
the shower to the floor to the bed to
Never.
the...
Do you like sex in the shower?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I feel like there is no lube there. It's all stuff.
Well, that's because you need silicone based.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
this.
that's the best.
Oh my gosh, you really are the master.
Yeah, if you do water based, it rinses away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never knew you need
Yeah.
silicone doesn't go.
No, it doesn't. It stays right where you need it to.
Oh my gosh, I have so much to learn. I'm 27 and it was like, I have no idea. So I think we're gonna end on this one. You know, James is gonna be a recurring guest. I do podcasts with everyone and I'm like, this person is gonna be
Nobody
and
comes
then
back.
they just block me. No, James will be a recurring guest on our podcast. Please don't forget to go check out his Instagram. Beautiful person, beautiful guest, beautiful parts of his body out there, beautiful soul. Smash the like button. We don't have a sponsorship for this video as usual because it's hard to sponsor, you know, we're very controversial. But the one sponsorship you can do is you can subscribe to this channel. It's free. Smash the like button, share it with your friends, and check out our VIP pages. And me and James, we're gonna do some beautiful videos after this podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button. And James will be back.
I'll be
telling you.
back.
Wait. So this is for the mic. This is for the clickbait. What we need to do, Mike, keep it in. So what we need to do is like we need to like start like kind of kissing a little bit. Ready? So he's gonna put
Are
it
we
in the
actually
beginning
gonna
of
kiss?
the. No, just like almost
Pretend,
1,
okay.
2, 3. All right. Thank you guys so much. Clickbait. Bye.